This video was presented by the EA Creator Network. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to what could potentially be my first ever video on the Sims 4 for Rent expansion pack. Hello if you are new to the channel and welcome back if you are a returning viewer. I am so excited for today to be able to launch well, not all, but a lot of for rent content. I'm so excited. So just make sure you have your notifications on and feel free to subscribe so that you can be a part of the fam bam. Yeah, so not only is this my first video ever on the Sims 4 for Rent expansion, this is actually my first time building an apartment using the Sims 4 for Rent expansion. And boy, do I have some things to share with you. But first, let me tell you a little bit about this apartment building, because this apartment building is actually going to be featured in our gameplay videos. So I wanted to create something where I could just kind of get my feet wet a little bit, experiment with the brand new apartment building tool, and just kind of get acquainted with it overall. Now, there are definitely some things about it I love, and there are certainly some things about it that I don't necessarily like, all of which I will be sharing with you. But first, let me tell you again a little bit about this apartment building. So this apartment building is great for, you know, beginners, beginner landlord, beginner property owners. It's very budget friendly. So I think it falls right at around 25 to 26,000 simoleons. My initial goal, though, was to create an apartment building that was a true one sim starter. And believe me when I say that is so ambitious of me to even think I could do something like that, because it's really freaking hard. Now, I feel like if I had access to all of the expansions, I might be able to do that. But using only the Sims 4 for Rent and the base game, that is definitely a challenge in and around itself that I am willing to do, but maybe on a different day. I'm definitely going to do it on a different video, because I'm not starting, but I had 3 Sims initially, and I thought, like, you know, maybe I could do it under 20. No, definitely used up all of their funds, and I might have given myself an extra ka-ching, an extra 1,000 simoleons. But still, I'm impressed that I was able to get it at least under 30K. So yeah, it's a budget friendly apartment building for purchase. So this apartment building is going to have 4 units total, 4 potential units, 2 of which will be furnished. The upstairs units are currently vacant. And you know what I'm thinking is maybe along the lines of you learning how to become a property owner, you could kind of grow your funds a little bit by renting out the unit next door. It's going to be a very slow burn, though, I think. And then eventually, you know, whether you invest your own simoleons or, you know, you're able to finally expand because you're generating enough income, then you could go upstairs and start kind of furnishing up those apartments. I don't know. I actually kind of am happy that I wasn't able to furnish the entire thing, because it really does give the feel of a true budget building, I suppose. Like, it definitely is something you can kind of grow with. And I really like the layout of the apartments. They're all 1 bedrooms though, because again, just space, money, and all that kind of, you know, all that kind of thing. I had to keep them very compact, very tiny. And I don't know, I think they're cute. So I'm thinking of how I'm going to do the whole gameplay thing. I'm thinking I'm just going to have 1 sim live in the unit to the right, and we'll talk more about like that dynamic and, you know, the gameplay and all that in the gameplay video itself. But I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. And again, just rent out the one next door, and then hopefully I'll be able to very quickly furnish and rent out those other apartments. And that's the thing, you need to furnish these apartments, which is definitely a little bit of a struggle, because you have to use your own money to do that. It would be nice if they, like, the Sims moved in and they furnished their own unit instead of you having to provide furniture, but it's cool. It's fun. Yeah. So overall, I would definitely say, like, building apartments is pretty surreal. I never thought I would ever have this capability within the Sims 4. And I feel like the Sims 4 has come such a long way in the last year. It actually blows my mind. As I was sitting here creating this apartment building, it started to feel kind of like, what is this game? Like, I started to feel like, what is this game? Like, this isn't feeling like The Sims to me anymore. And I love it. I love it, because this capability is something that really, in my personal opinion, just expands the potential of so many things in The Sims 4: gameplay, building, you know, storytelling, just it really does. So even though the build tool for apartments is great, it definitely has its pitfalls for sure. So one of the things that I loved is that assigning or creating a designated apartment is super duper easy. What you do is like each one of those little squares there can actually be split up into a shared space, or it can be, you know, assigned to an apartment. So you just click on each one of those little squares, whether it's a room or a hallway, whatever, and then you would assign them to a particular unit. That's super easy to do. It'll create like a little outline. I don't think you can change the color of the outline, but it will create an outline so that you can see which parts of the unit are designated as shared spaces, or they're designated as, you know, true you know, apartment units or whatever, you know what I mean? Residential dwellings. Okay. But the only thing about that I found really annoying is that when I went to add in more furnishings, or especially when I went to go and do a little bit of landscaping, oh my freaking God. Like, oh my God, it was so annoying. The line was blaring. Like I couldn't even really see what I was doing. So I found that really disruptive in my building process, just having that big freaking proximity line just like in my face. But I will say there are so many beautiful build buy items that I haven't even gotten to like play with because I had to keep this so cheap. But there are so many, you guys. Like I'm going to be honest with you. The build buy in this pack is amazing. Also, Cass definitely threw me for a loop. I was not expecting it to be as great as it is, which I think I am going to do designated videos on both, just because I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to show all the items off to you. And I think they're so beautiful. Like you have to see them. I am playing around with the brand new like kitchen counters, and I'm using a brand new table from the pack. I'm also using those cute little like plastic patio chairs too as well. And there's also like a little tapestry too. So I am using some things from the pack. I try to implement as much as I possibly could where I could, but there's definitely a ton of room for growth for sure. Like, you know, I think over time I'll be able to upgrade the units and we'll be able to use more of those items from the Sims 4 for Rent expansion. But right now, like I said, money was definitely of the essence. So there is a loading screen. We haven't talked about this. We talked about it on Twitter, and I know a lot of people were very upset about the loading screen. They just didn't see it being necessary. I'm here to tell you that on this build, okay, with only the base game and the Sims 4 for Rent expansion, the loading screen was 8 seconds long. It was super quick. Like I blinked and the unit next to me loaded. So it isn't something that I find to be super jarring. But again, I think this kind of would depend on how much you have in the apartment dwelling, how much or the room or whatever it is that's a separate space. I think it would depend on how many expansion packs you have. I just think it would depend. I don't think my 8-second loading screen is going to be universal. If it is, amazing. But I just wanted to let you know, with just the Sims 4 base game and the Sims 4 Rent, it's really not a big deal. Like it's hardly even a loading screen at best. So anyways, we are just playing outside a little bit, doing a little bit of landscaping. There is this cute little bike rack. There are some non-functioning bikes within this pack. I will say debug and live mode are insane. I can't wait to explore this more when I actually get the game for myself and I can use the tool mod and better build by to actually fully like experience this pack, because it's so hard to navigate just using like the regular build-in cheats and stuff. But I did use some like debug little like planters here. I grabbed one of these little plastic chairs, all just for decoration, nothing functions. Again, I just wanted to be able to lightly landscape the property so it doesn't look so barren without, you know, breaking the bank. So yeah, I just did what I could, and I think that's pretty much everything. I could have sworn I was going to show you how I assigned the units, but because I was having such a struggle with the landscaping, I think I actually do that at the end. So stay tuned for that. But other than assigning the units and naming the property, which is Isla, I think it's like Isla Apartments, Isla or something like that. Isla Apartments. Yeah. I think we're pretty much done here. In the future, I would love to be able to add like a little like backyard shared space, maybe a pool or something like that. But obviously I'm going to have to get my funds up first. So anyways, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this speed build build here. If there's any builds you would like to see, please let me know in the comments down below, and I will do my best to get them done and out to you and play around a little more so that you can see more of what the Sims 4 for Rent expansion pack has to offer. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, you know what to do. Don't forget to go ahead, comment, rate, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, where the sun does not shine, and I will see you all next time.